follows Stephen Curry everywhere he goes. Behind the records, the championships, and the constant spotlight, Curry's real estate choices tell a quieter story, one shaped by family, routine, and the need for balance in a life defined by pressure. These homes are not designed to impress crowds. They are designed to protect normalcy. They create space for stillness in a career that rarely slows down. From the beginning of his NBA journey, Curry approached home ownership differently than many superstars. Early on, housing was practical, short leases, functional spaces, places that served a schedule rather than a lifestyle. But as success stabilized and family became the center of his world, real estate shifted from necessity to intention. The Bay Area became more than a workplace. It became an anchor. One of Curry's most well-known properties sits in Atherton, California, an area known for privacy, expansive lots, and understated luxury. The choice of Atherton is revealing. It is exclusive, but discreet. Wealth exists there quietly. Homes are hidden behind gates and trees, not billboards. The Atherton residence reflects that mindset. Architecturally, it avoids flash. The exterior is clean and modern, with muted tones and balanced proportions. There is no excess ornamentation. Instead, the structure feels grounded, crafted to endure and to be lived in. Inside, the atmosphere is intentionally calm. High ceilings and open layouts allow light to move freely through the space. The design favors natural materials. Wood, stone, and soft textures dominate. These choices soften the scale of the home and make large rooms feel personal rather than imposing. The layout prioritizes shared space. Living areas flow into one another. The kitchen opens into family rooms. This is not a home segmented into formal zones that go unused. It is designed for constant interaction. Meals, conversations, and daily rituals unfold in the same spaces, reinforcing connection. Bedrooms are private retreats rather than status statements. They are designed for rest. Minimal clutter, soft lighting, neutral palettes. In a career where sleep and recovery are essential, these rooms function as tools for longevity. Comfort is not decorative, it is strategic. The home also reflects Curry's role as a father. Dedicated areas for his children exist throughout the property. Spaces to study, spaces to play, outdoor zones designed for safe exploration. These details speak to a long-term mindset. This is not a temporary stop. It is a place meant to hold memories over years, not seasons. Outside, the property opens up. The backyard is expansive yet controlled. Landscaping provides privacy without isolation. There are open lawns, shaded seating areas, and subtle training spaces. Not everything is visible. Some features are tucked away, reserved for moments that do not need an audience. The presence of a private basketball court is not about spectacle. It is about access. The ability to practice without travel, to move freely, to stay connected to the game in a way that feels personal rather than performative. In this setting, basketball becomes routine again, not a show. Location plays a critical role in how this home functions. Atherton offers distance from crowds without disconnecting from the Bay Area ecosystem. Schools, training facilities, and community are all within reach. This allows Curry to maintain consistency. Consistency in a profession built on constant change. Before Atherton, Curry owned another notable Bay Area home in Alamo, California. That property marked an earlier stage of his career. It was larger than his initial professional housing, but still transitional. The Alamo home carried more visible luxury. High ceilings, expansive views, a sense of upward movement. Selling that property was not a retreat, it was an evolution. As Curry's priorities sharpened, so did his definition of comfort. The move toward Atherton represented a desire for stability over scale, privacy over display, routine over novelty. Curry's real estate story also includes properties outside California, often tied to off-season needs or family considerations. These homes serve different purposes. Some are designed for rest during breaks from the season. Others function as temporary bases during travel-heavy months. What remains consistent across all of them is restraint. There is no pattern of rapid buying and selling, no headline-chasing purchases. Each acquisition appears deliberate, timed with life transitions rather than contract milestones. This restraint mirrors Curry's public image: disciplined, focused, purpose-driven. His homes reflect the same philosophy that defines his playing style: efficiency over excess, precision over noise. The interiors of his homes also reveal an emphasis on wellness. Gym spaces are functional, not theatrical. Recovery areas are integrated seamlessly into daily living. These are not separate facilities, they are extensions of routine, designed to support longevity rather than vanity. Technology is present but subtle. Smart systems manage lighting, temperature, and security quietly in the background. The goal is ease, not novelty. The home adapts to the family, not the other way around. Security, naturally, is a priority, but it is handled discreetly. Gated access, layered privacy, visual separation from public roads. These measures create peace without creating a fortress. The homes feel open internally while remaining protected externally. What stands out most in Curry's real estate choices is what is missing. There are no excessive collections, no themed rooms built for spectacle, no spaces that exist solely for guests who may never arrive. Everything serves a purpose tied to daily life. This approach reflects a deeper understanding of success. At a certain level, accumulation loses meaning. What replaces it is optimization, how space supports health, how design reduces friction, how environment reinforces values. For Curry, home is not an escape from his career. It is a stabilizer within it, a place where roles shift, where he is not a symbol or a leader, but a parent, a partner, a person with routines that matter. Real estate, in this context, becomes an extension of identity. Each property represents a decision about how to live, not just where. The choices favor longevity over momentary thrill. They favor presence over projection. As seasons change and careers evolve, homes remain. They witness growth in ways cameras never do. They hold quiet mornings, late-night conversations, uncelebrated victories, and unseen struggles. In the case of Stephen Curry, the houses are not louder than the man. They are quieter, and in that quiet, something important becomes visible. Not the highlight reel version of success, but the version that lasts after the lights dim. The one built slowly, protected carefully, and lived in fully, even as the world continues to watch from the outside. Another quiet layer of Curry's real estate story is how time is treated inside these homes. Nothing feels rushed. Spaces are allowed to age naturally. Every material is picked to improve with time, not degrade. This signals patience, a long view, the kind of thinking required to sustain excellence over decades rather than seasons. There is also an emotional intelligence embedded in these properties. The homes are designed to absorb pressure, not amplify it. After road trips, playoff runs, and public scrutiny, the environment offers decompression. Sound is softened. Visual clutter is minimized. Movement through the house feels intuitive. These details matter more than square footage when the goal is mental clarity. Curry's approach to property also reflects trust. Trust in place, trust in routine. Trust that success does not need constant reinforcement through upgrades or relocations. Staying put becomes an advantage. Familiar walls become grounding forces. Familiar neighborhoods reduce decision fatigue in a life full of choices. In this way, his homes function almost like training partners. They support recovery, they reinforce discipline, they remind him who he is when performance is stripped away. Not a brand, not a headline, just a person returning to a space built to hold real life, even when the rest of the world keeps moving.
The biggest luxury home in Malibu isn't just about size. It's a reflection of one icon's life. When you picture Malibu mansions, most come and go with the trends. Glass boxes, infinity pools, ocean views. But Cher's Malibu house, it's different. This isn't just another celebrity estate. It's a living time capsule of artistry, rebellion, and reinvention. So what makes this mansion one of Malibu's most unforgettable homes? How did its design mirror Cher's own reinvention through the years? And what secrets of her lifestyle are hidden within its walls? Let's step into Cher's world and see why this house redefines Hollywood luxury. Before the world called her a legend, Cher was a risk-taker who turned every era into her own. From the Sonny and Cher days of the 1960s to her Oscar-winning acting career and her domination of pop charts in the 1990s. Cher's success came with waves of reinvention and just as many personal and financial ups and downs. By the late 80s, she was at a turning point. After years of touring and film work, she wanted something permanent, a sanctuary that reflected not just her fame, but her resilience. That's when she discovered the perfect spot on the bluffs of Malibu. In 1989, Cher purchased a stretch of land overlooking the Pacific for roughly $2.95 million. Her vision? To build something timeless, part fortress, part fantasy, that would reflect the balance between her fierce independence and spiritual depth. Malibu wasn't just another celebrity zip code. It was the place where privacy met prestige. A coastline lined with artists, moguls, and stars searching for calm beyond the chaos of Hollywood. For Cher, that mattered. She didn't want a house. She wanted her legacy carved into stone and sea air. And that's exactly what this home became. A personal monument to identity and artistry. Now known as her Malibu mansion, one of the most talked about celebrity estates in California. With the land secure, the transformation of this bluff-top property would become one of the most ambitious design stories in Malibu history. When Cher finally broke ground on her dream estate, she didn't build a house. She built a statement. Completed in 1999, the residence spans 13,126 square feet on 1.7 oceanfront acres of Malibu's most exclusive bluff, with 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, and panoramic views stretching across the Pacific. The home feels less like a celebrity retreat and more like a modern-day castle. Architecturally, Cher's Malibu estate captures the essence of Italian Renaissance grandeur, while folding in Venetian palazzo opulence and subtle Moorish influence. Every inch of it feels intentional. Imported limestone and marble line the floors, while hand-carved wooden doors and Moroccan tiles reflect her lifelong fascination with global artistry. The attention to detail borders on cinematic. Arched windows flood every room with golden light, framing double ocean views that seem to move with the day. In the courtyard, a star-shaped fountain adds symmetry and calm, while the tennis court and infinity pool blur the boundary between home and horizon. But what truly defines this property are the personal touches. Hidden behind one unassuming door lies a climate-controlled wig room, reportedly housing nearly 100 wigs. A nod to Cher's chameleonic image and stage legacy. Every design decision reflects her duality, discipline and drama, privacy and performance. This wasn't just architecture, it was an autobiography in stone. The house tells the story of an artist who never stopped creating, even when the canvas was her own home. But even the most breathtaking mansion can only say so much. What happens inside those walls reveals the heart of its legend. For decades, Cher's Malibu mansion hasn't just been a house, it's been a symbol. When it hit the market at a jaw-dropping $85 million, later reduced to $75 million. The listing alone became headline news. Media outlets called it one of the most recognizable celebrity estates on the California coast, a property so distinctly Cher that it blurred the line between architecture and iconography. But for Cher herself, this was never just a showpiece. She once described it as my sanctuary, my fortress. Behind those gates, she built not a spectacle, but solitude. The design, the stone courtyard, the ocean breezes echoing through arched halls, offered the rarest Hollywood luxury of all, peace. Inside, the house reflected her spiritual side. Cher has practiced Buddhism for decades, and her Malibu retreat often hosted quiet meditation sessions, charity gatherings, and small dinners for close friends and artists. It was where philanthropy met philosophy, her love for art, healing, and humanity, all rooted in one serene space. Yet this estate also challenged a familiar idea about celebrity homes. Are they meant to project status or preserve self? In Cher's case, it was both. Her home stood as a statement of achievement, but never at the cost of authenticity. Every archway, candlelit corridor, and handcrafted detail echoed her message. Luxury isn't about excess, it's about essence. Yet for someone who could make any space her sanctuary, Malibu wasn't her only masterpiece. In the 1970s, Cher acquired the famed Owlwood Estates in Holmby Hills, a sprawling Italian Renaissance mansion once purchased with Sonny Bono for roughly $750,000. That estate eventually sold for around $88 million in 2020. Later, she bought a Benedict Canyon compound in the mid-1970s, 14 acres and nearly 20,000 square feet of Egyptian-inspired architecture with stables, riding trails, and a tennis court. She went on to sell it to Eddie Murphy. Elsewhere, Cher ventured beyond California. In 1993, she purchased a Mediterranean-style mansion on Lagos Island in Miami and sold it several years later for a substantial profit. In Aspen, she owned an Adobe-style villa on 8 acres, custom-designed with Elkhorn chairs and antique killums, demonstrating that her real estate journey wasn't just about seaside showpieces. What's fascinating is the pattern. Each property reflects a different era, a different persona, yet they all share one thing, a deeply personal design DNA. By owning estates from Malibu to Miami to Aspen, Cher built a real estate portfolio that speaks to reinvention, investment, and identity. And unlike many stars who hold one flagship home, Cher used her portfolio to experiment and express, turning homes into extensions of her art. Each sale, each purchase, wasn't just a property move, it was a chapter in her ongoing narrative. Real estate may show her taste, but her rides, they show her power. Cher hasn't piled headlines around a modern supercar stable, but she does have notable vehicles in her history that tell a story. Most famously, she once owned a 1972 Ferrari 246 Dyno GTS, bought new in 1972 and sold years later. That very dyno resurfaced at auction in 2024, drawing attention because of its celebrity provenance. That sale proves Cher's taste for classic collectible machinery, long before celebrity car collections became the norm. Going further back, Cher and Sonny were famous for matching custom Mustangs in the 1960s, pink and gold convertibles that became pop culture artifacts and have appeared at major auctions. Those cars weren't just transport, they were props in a public persona, carefully styled to match a duo whose image was as important as their music. The Mustang's repeated appearances at auctions and in collector stories underline how Cher's car choices often doubled as cultural statements. Luxury for Cher is never purely about flashing symbols. It's functional, theatrical, and thoroughly integrated into how she presents herself. Her Malibu estate's climate-controlled wig room, guest houses, and hospitality spaces mean a lot of Hollywood logistics happen at home. Costume changes, arrivals and departures timed to a tour calendar, and a backstage economy in permanent residence. But luxury also demands contingency. In December 2024, the Franklin fire forced Cher to evacuate her Malibu home, a stark reminder that even the most fortified estates and private travel plans are vulnerable to nature. She left with pets and essentials, illustrating that a high-end lifestyle requires serious emergency planning. A side of celebrity life that rarely makes glossy pages, but is critical to maintaining privacy and safety. For most celebrities, a mansion is a showpiece. For Cher, it's a mirror, reflecting not just fame, but fortitude, artistry, and reinvention. From her Malibu sanctuary perched above the Pacific to the classic cars that once defined her youth, everything she's built tells the same story. Luxury with purpose, beauty with backbone. She's proven that real power isn't just in what you own, it's in how you evolve. And that's why, decades after her first hit, Cher's Malibu mansion still stands as one of Hollywood's most enduring symbols of taste, strength, and timeless glamour. Because icons don't follow trends, they build temples on their own. How Snoop Dogg's net worth reached legendary status. Snoop Dogg's net worth isn't just about hit records. It's a blueprint for building a cultural empire. Because behind the memes, the movies, and the smooth West Coast swagger is a man who turned rhyme skills into global business power. In this video, we're breaking down what really built Snoop's fortune, from rap icon to mogul, using music, cannabis ventures, tech plays, and even sports ownership to stack up wealth that goes far beyond the stage. Let's break down how the Doggfather built a fortune that refuses to stop growing. Snoop Dogg's story doesn't start with fame. It starts in Long Beach, where Calvin Cordozar Broadus Jr. grew up surrounded by music, movement, and a neighborhood that demanded both toughness and creativity. From an early age, Snoop had a gift, a voice so smooth it felt effortless, and a flow that made even simple lines sound cinematic. Dr. Dre. After Dre discovered Snoop through a homemade tape with Warren G, everything changed. Snoop went from local talent to being featured all over The Chronic, and the response was instant. Fans didn't just like him, they locked onto him, drawn in by that laid-back delivery that felt like storytelling at street level. Then came Doggy Style in 1993, a debut album that didn't just sell, it exploded. It opened at #1, went multi-platinum, and instantly cemented Snoop as a West Coast rap legend. Suddenly, his voice, his look, and his style weren't just part of hip-hop, they were shaping it. But what people sometimes forget is that early success did something much bigger for Snoop. It sharpened his business instincts. He learned quickly that fame is powerful, but ownership is stronger. Recording sessions, label politics, the massive success of Doggy Style, all of it taught him how to turn momentum into opportunity. It's the mindset that later fueled his moves into celebrity branding, tech ventures, TV, cannabis, and more. And once you've seen millions of dollars hit from your first album, you start thinking about the millions that can be hit from everything else. Snoop Dogg didn't become wealthy by accident. He became wealthy by evolving. Even as his music kept charting, streaming, and earning royalties around the world, he started shifting from performer to architect. His catalog still pulls millions of streams every month. His touring remains global, and his features are practically a genre of their own. But Snoop understood early that music money is powerful and unstable. That's why he built something bigger. The boldest move in that evolution came in 2022, when Snoop shocked the industry by acquiring Death Row Records, the very label that launched him. What once controlled his masters was now his brand to reshape. He's since expanded it into a digital-first label, pairing nostalgia with modern content strategy. Owning Death Row wasn't just business, it was reclaiming history. It was Snoop rewriting the terms of his legacy. But that's only one branch of his empire. Behind the scenes, Snoop was building a far more sophisticated financial machine. Casa Verde Capital, the cannabis-focused investment fund he co-founded. What started as a cultural movement became a massive business opportunity. With roughly $300 million under management, Casa Verde backed everything from cannabis tech to distribution, helping Snoop turn his long-standing association into something far more profitable, a global cannabis investor instead of just a spokesperson. And then there are the brands. Snoop isn't just posing with bottles, he's driving sales. His collaboration with 19 Crimes transformed a novelty wine into a remarkable marketing success story. His media presence, game shows, cooking shows with Martha Stewart, commercials, live streams, Snoop mastered the art of staying visible without overexposing himself. Every deal reinforces the others, forming a web of influence that keeps his revenue flowing from every direction. By the time you add up royalties, brand deals, business ventures, entertainment projects, and investments, Snoop stopped being just a rapper. He became a cultural businessman, a walking, talking marketing engine who can sell almost anything simply by showing up. Because for Snoop, wealth isn't just about making hits, it's about owning what made you. Snoop Dogg's influence didn't stop at the studio. It spilled into every corner of popular culture. By the time he became a household name, Snoop had turned visibility into a strategy. He showed up on TV, in movies, on cooking shows, game shows, talk shows, and every time he expanded his reach. What started as guest roles evolved into full-on hosting gigs, documentaries, and even sports broadcasts. These appearances weren't just for fun. They kept Snoop in front of millions, reinforcing him as a global entertainment figure and a steady, bankable presence in mainstream media. One of his boldest moves came overseas. While most rappers invest in jewelry or fashion, Snoop bought a co-owner stake in Swansea City FC, a professional football club in the UK. It wasn't random, it was strategic. Football is one of the biggest sports on the planet, and Snoop tapped into an international fan base with one investment. Suddenly, he wasn't just an American icon. He was a player in the global sports economy. That shift showed exactly how he thinks. Long-term, wide reach, and always with culture in mind. And that's at the core of his investment philosophy. Snoop invests where culture and capital meet, whether it's cannabis, music, sports, media, or emerging tech. He puts money into spaces that connect to who he is and who his audience is. It's why almost everything he touches feels authentic instead of forced. He's not chasing trends, he's expanding his world. He's building a portfolio that reflects both the Long Beach kid he once was and the international mogul he became. Because when you're not just a rapper, but a brand, every investment becomes part of your legacy. For a man whose image is larger than life, Snoop Dogg's real estate story is surprisingly grounded. He's owned multiple properties across California over the years, but his most well-known residence is the longtime home he purchased in the late 90s, a spot in Diamond Bar, tucked inside a gated community in the hills. It's not a mega mansion like you'd expect from a superstar, but a comfortable estate that fits Snoop's vibe. Private, relaxed, and tailored to creativity. That choice alone says a lot. He could have lived in a palace, but he chose something that felt like home. Inside the space reflects exactly who he is. Music rooms, custom touches, a laid-back interior. Everything orbits around comfort and imagination. And over the years, he's expanded and upgraded, turning it into a personal headquarters for family, work, and downtime. While many celebrities chase the next flashy upgrade, Snoop built a sanctuary. And that's a consistent theme across his California holdings. Each property leans into his identity. Not over the top, not performative, but refined with intention. This is where you see the connection between lifestyle and wealth. Snoop's spending isn't about proving he's rich. It's about maintaining a balance. He lives well, but in a way that sustains him, not overwhelms him. And that's the mark of someone who understands money at a deeper level. His home life mirrors his empire, chill on the surface, but built with quiet ambition. Every decision from location to layout supports the man he's become, not just the icon everyone sees. And if his homes reveal anything, it's that even behind closed doors, his success is built on intention, not impulse. When people talk about Snoop's success, they often skip the number that actually shows the scale of his empire. As of 2025, his net worth sits in the $160 to $165 million range, a valuation built over 3 decades and fueled by a wealth portfolio that keeps expanding even when he's not in the booth. And the sources of that money tell a story. A big slice still comes from music, the streams, the touring, the deep catalog that never really left rotation. But the engine of his net worth is business, his cannabis ventures, his startup investments, and that era-defining move of reclaiming Death Row Records. Add media deals, hosting gigs, and brand partnerships, and you start to see how Snoop turned his persona into a revenue-generating machine. He didn't just get rich, he diversified. And the proof sits in his garage. He's got a Rolls-Royce Ghost, a symbol of quiet, serious money, a Ferrari 458 Italia, the kind of performance car that speaks louder than any chain, and a custom 2011 Ford Mustang GT designed with Funkmaster Flex, a nod to West Coast car culture and Snoop's love for personalized rides. Each one isn't just a flex, it's part of his asset valuation, the tangible side of a fortune built through strategy, not luck. Because once you understand what he owns and why he owns it, you see the blueprint behind the legend. At the end of the day, Snoop didn't just build wealth, he built a legacy that earns even when he sleeps. And that's what makes his rise truly legendary. How Michael Jordan lives with a $3 billion fortune. Michael Jordan's $3 billion fortune isn't just sneakers. It's in real estate, jets, and a lifestyle built on legacy. Today we're breaking down Michael Jordan's luxury lifestyle, the empire behind it, and how he turned on-court dominance into a money machine that Forbes now values in the multi-billion-dollar range. We'll look at how he built that wealth across Jordan Brand, NBA ownership, and private investments, and then step inside how he actually lives with it, from luxury mansions to his travel habits to the choices that shape his legacy. Because when a legend becomes a business empire, every lifestyle move says something about power, influence, and intent. Before the private jets, the estates, and the whispers about his next mega purchase, Michael Jordan built something even rarer: global trust. In the late 80s and 90s, He wasn't just winning games, he was winning the world. 6 championships with the Chicago Bulls, 2 three-peats, and a level of dominance that pushed basketball into mainstream international culture. It wasn't just skill, it was mythology forming in real time. And that mythology is exactly what allowed Nike to turn one athlete into an empire. When Jordan embraced long-term endorsement deals instead of the usual one-off sponsorships, he was betting on himself at a scale few athletes even imagined. That decision gave birth to a revenue machine, the Jordan brand, which still pulls in billions annually and continues paying him a royalty estimated at tens of millions every year. Those earnings don't stop at sneakers. They became leverage. Jordan poured that leverage into team ownership, starting with a minority stake in the Charlotte Bobcats in 2006, then buying majority control in 2010, making him the first former NBA player to become the principal owner of a franchise. That move wasn't just symbolic, it was financial architecture. His eventual sale of the majority stake in 2023 helped push his net worth into the 3 universe. When you dominate the game, people watch. But when you own the game, your fortune starts to last. Michael Jordan didn't just become a billionaire because he was famous. He became a billionaire because he understood ownership. Nike's Air Jordan line was huge in the 90s, but what turned into a wealth engine was Jordan's long-term royalty structure. According to Forbes, the Jordan brand now generates billions annually, with MJ earning an estimated $300 million per year from royalties alone. That's the kind of deal most athletes can only dream about. A lifetime residual tied directly to his global influence. But the real acceleration came after he left the court. Jordan stepped into executive rooms with the same intensity he brought to playoff games. His majority acquisition of the Charlotte Hornets in 2010 was a calculated move. He bought when NBA franchise values were far lower. When he sold his controlling stake in 2023, a deal valued around $3 billion, it instantly boosted his net worth into the elite tier of American wealth. That single transaction showed exactly how a sports business empire is built. And MJ didn't stop there. He co-founded the NASCAR team, 2311 Racing, alongside Denny Hamlin, sparking a major investment into a sport, expanding its audience and sponsorship footprint. Reuters also reports his involvement in strategic venture investments, especially in sports and tech companies where his brand brings more than just money. It brings cultural weight. Today, Forbes lists his net worth at over $3 billion, placing him among the wealthiest figures in American entertainment and sports, and the first athlete to join the Forbes 400. The shoes may have launched his fortune, but the equity moves, the sales, the stakes, the quiet power plays are what turned it into a dynasty. When you look at Michael Jordan's real estate, you don't just see luxury. You see a man mapping out his life across the places that shaped him. His most famous property is the Highland Park mansion just outside Chicago, the 32,000 square foot estate he built in 1995 at the height of his Bulls dominance. After more than a decade on the market, endless price cuts, and a reputation as the house only Jordan could live in, it finally sold in December 2024 for $9.5 million. Inside, it's exactly what you'd expect from peak-era MJ. A regulation-sized basketball court, custom gates with the iconic number 23, and a level of detail that shows this wasn't just a house, it was a personal trophy case. But Chicago is only one chapter. Down in North Carolina near Lake Norman sits another piece of Jordan's life, a lakefront home, which saw recent demolition and rebuilding activity, is a sign that MJ continues to invest in his home state. The lakefront setting taps into something deeper, his UNC roots, his connection to the region, and the quieter side of a man who once lived under a nonstop spotlight. Michael Jordan's primary residence for the past decade has been in Jupiter, Florida, inside the ultra-private Bears Club Enclave, and it's less a house than a small, perfectly controlled campus. Reporters and real estate listings describe the core property as a compound made up of multiple structures, a main living residence, a separate athletic wing, guest houses, and security guard facilities, all set on several acres of lush, manicured grounds. From the street, the mansion reads low and discreet, gated drive, dense hedging, and a 2-story guardhouse that announces privacy. Inside, the scale opens up. The main house has expansive, high-ceilinged public rooms with wide sightlines tailored to hosting and family life rather than flashy selfie moments. The design mixes stone, wood, and glass to create calm, neutral interiors that emphasize space and view rather than ornate decoration. The part that most people want to know about is the athletic wing, and this is where Jordan's home becomes unmistakably his. The estate reportedly includes a full-size indoor basketball court and a professional-grade gym, both built to pro standards, so workouts and pickup games can happen anytime without leaving home. The athletic wing is accompanied by locker room-style facilities, recovery and spa areas, and room for trainers and equipment. In short, everything a former MVP would need to stay game-ready. Bedrooms and guest spaces are extensive. Many listings reference double-digit bedroom counts across the compound, with multiple ensuite baths, private terraces, and guest pavilions that allow visiting family to have full independence. There's also a separate guest house and staff quarters that keep private living separate from entertainment areas. Outside amenities read like a resort, multiple pools and fountains, large patios and alfresco dining spaces, putting green and golf course adjacency, and meticulously landscaped private yards. The property's orientation prioritizes privacy and outdoor living, fitting for the Florida climate and the golf-centric lifestyle Jordan is known to enjoy. The garage and vehicle storage are also substantial. Listings and profiles refer to multi-car garages with room for both daily cars and collector vehicles, and service areas for detailing and storage, which makes sense for someone who travels often and values vehicle privacy. Reports place the size of Jordan's Bear Club compound in the ballpark of tens of thousands of square feet across structures, with specific reported figures ranging up to the high tens of thousands for combined indoor-outdoor and auxiliary spaces on multi-acre lots. Jordan's Jupiter home is the opposite of a trophy to be photographed. It's engineered for comfort, training, and privacy. It reflects a billionaire who values utility with quiet luxury, a place to host family, train, and step away from public life, while remaining fully equipped for work, leisure, and legacy activities. Across all of these properties, one theme stands out. Each home reveals a different dimension of his ultra-wealthy lifestyle. Chicago represents legacy. North Carolina represents the origin. Jupiter represents privacy, amenities, and the comfort of living exactly how he chooses. And while the square footage is impressive, the story behind each address says even more. Every property marks another milestone in Jordan's evolution. But for someone with billionaire reach, Michael Jordan doesn't flaunt a garage the way some stars do. But what is known about his machines tells you exactly who he is. Selective, powerful, and impossible to copy. Jordan's most famous ride isn't even on the road. It's in the sky. His Gulfstream G650ER, a long-range luxury jet often valued between $65 and $70 million. Aviation records show it registered under MJ Air LLC, with that unmistakable tail number N236MJ. 23 for the jersey, 6 for his championship count, and MJ because, honestly, who else could it belong to? Reports highlight a custom paint job inspired by his sneaker legacy, from the Jumpman on the tail to the gray and black elephant print pattern pulled straight from classic Jordans. The interior? Think 19-passenger comfort, private sleeping space, dining setup, and a cabin tailored to someone who built an empire on global movement. And the cars? Jordan may keep the keys close, but the world has still spotted some heavy hitters. He's long been tied to Ferraris, including a Ferrari 550 Maranello and a 599 GTB Fiorano, both V12 classics built for speed and status. Then there's the car that grabs headlines every time it surfaces, the Bugatti Veyron Sang Noir, one of roughly a dozen ever produced. Even rarer still is the Hennessy Venom F5 Roadster reported to be in his collection, a 1,800 power hypercar with a price tag around $3.5 million and the speed profile of a fighter jet. Jordan has also been linked to multiple Porsches over the years, from the Porsche 911 Turbo S 993 to the ultra-rare Porsche 930 Turbo Flat Nose, a car that reportedly inspired some of the earliest Jordan sneaker designs with its sharp aerodynamic line. Add in a Mercedes McLaren SLR 722 and even a supercharged Cadillac XLR-V, and you get a picture of someone who collects not for flash, but for legacy. Unlike some celebrities who lean into gold-plated excess, Jordan's automotive taste mirrors his business career. Refined, calculated, obsessed with performance. And his jet? That's not lifestyle fluff. That's infrastructure for a billionaire who still moves like an active mogul. Because for Michael Jordan, luxury isn't about showing off, it's about staying in motion. At this point, Michael Jordan isn't just a former athlete or even a billionaire. He's a living blueprint for how excellence can outgrow its origin and become an empire. And the way he lives now is the clearest proof that his legacy never stopped evolving. It just got bigger, sharper, and harder to catch. Because Michael Jordan doesn't chase greatness anymore, he owns it. Luke Bryan's lifestyle isn't just luxury, it's proof he's living the dream. From small-town Georgia to the global country stage, Luke Bryan has crafted a life that feels like the perfect harmony between fame and family, spotlight and simplicity. His story isn't just about hits and headlines. It's about how one man built a life as rich in meaning as it is in success. So, how did a kid from a peanut farm go on to design the ultimate dream life and do it entirely on his own terms? Which homes, family properties, and off-the-grid vacations reveal how he balances celebrity and simplicity? And what do his travels, business ventures, and public image say about the kind of man Luke Bryan really is? Let's dive in. Before the bright lights and sold-out arenas, Luke Bryan was just a kid from Leesburg, Georgia, growing up on his family's peanut farm. Life there wasn't glamorous. It was early mornings, long days, and a rhythm of work that taught him what commitment really means. That humble start would become the foundation of the country music star's lifestyle, anchored in hard work, humility, and heart. Luke's father, Tommy Bryan, was a peanut farmer, and his mother, LeClaire, filled the home with music. Luke's early influences weren't just the twang of country radio. They were the stories of the South, sung from porches and Sunday gatherings. He once said, "It's that small-town life that keeps me grounded no matter where I go." When tragedy struck, his older brother Chris died in a car accident. Luke's dreams of moving to Nashville were put on hold. But a few years later, with his family's encouragement, he packed his guitar and went anyway. That decision changed everything. In Nashville, Luke started as a songwriter, penning hits for artists like Travis Tritt and Billy Currington before stepping into the spotlight himself. His breakout single, All My Friends Say, in 2007 opened the floodgates. Within a few short years, he went from the farm to the festival stage, headlining tours and topping charts with songs like Crash My Party and Drink a Beer. But fame didn't change Luke. It deepened his sense of purpose. His farm tour, started in 2009, wasn't just a gimmick. It was a full-circle moment, bringing massive concerts back to rural communities and raising scholarship money for students from farming families. He told one interviewer, "The farm is where I learned about community. I just want to give that feeling back." That connection to the land, to family, to people is what separates Luke from many of his peers. While others chased glamour, Luke built a career and a life rooted in authenticity. He's not just a country singer. He's a storyteller who never forgot where the story began. His journey from peanut fields to prime time didn't just make him famous. It defined how he'd live, give, and dream for the rest of his life. Luke Bryan's journey from farmhand to fame isn't just about making it big. It's about building something that lasts. Because while some artists ride the wave of one big hit, Luke built an empire. His net worth didn't come from just singing about dirt roads and good times. It came from diversifying how he earned and how he lived. When Luke hit his stride in the 2010s, he became one of the most successful country artists of his generation. With albums like Crash My Party, Kill the Lights, and What Makes You Country, he dominated the charts, landing 30 #1 hits and selling over 75 million records worldwide. Forbes once estimated that during his peak touring years, Luke was earning around $40 million annually, ranking among the top-paid musicians globally. But Luke's real genius wasn't just in singing, it was in scaling. He launched his own entertainment company, 32 Bridge Entertainment, a venture that allowed him to shape not only his music, but also the careers of upcoming artists. That move gave him creative control and a financial cushion, turning him from performer to powerhouse. And then came the move that made him a household name beyond country music, American Idol. When Luke joined the judging panel in 2018, it wasn't just a paycheck. Though at around $12 million per season, it certainly helped. It was also about influence. It let him connect with new audiences, mentor young talent, and redefine what it meant to be a modern country icon. Offstage, Luke leaned into business the same way he approaches songwriting, with heart and purpose. His Luke's 32 Bridge Food and Drink in downtown Nashville isn't just a restaurant, it's a love letter to his roots, featuring southern food, live music, and that easygoing charm fans know him for. He also owns Sure Thing Cigar, a Gulf Coast cigar bar, and has invested in other hospitality ventures that blend entertainment with lifestyle. But even as he built a business portfolio that rivals his music success, Luke's tone stayed grounded. He said that he measures success not in dollars, but in freedom. The freedom to tour when he wants, spend time with family, and live without pressure. That's the quiet secret behind Luke's rise. While the world sees a star, he sees a steward of his time, his money, and his joy. Fame gave him the spotlight, but multiple income streams gave him the freedom to live life completely on his own terms. If there's one thing Luke Bryan has mastered, it's turning fame into fuel for good. His legacy isn't just about the spotlight. It's about how he uses that light to give back, inspire, and stay connected to where he came from. His annual farm tours have provided college scholarships for students from farming families, honoring the people and communities that built the backbone of his story. But his giving doesn't stop in the fields. It's deeply personal. After a string of family tragedies, including the loss of his brother, sister, and later his brother-in-law, Luke and his wife Caroline stepped in to raise their nieces and nephew. Out of that heartbreak came Brett's Barn, a sanctuary for rescue animals named after their late niece. It's not just a farm, it's a place of healing where kids facing illness can visit, meet the animals, and feel joy again. It's quiet, wholesome, and pure Luke Bryan at heart. That same generosity extends to his country music brand, built around humility and humor. Whether he's joking on American Idol, goofing off on social media, or sharing emotional moments about family, he manages to balance superstardom with sincerity. He's the guy who can headline a stadium one night and host a barbecue the next, always smiling, always grounded. And that's what makes Luke's image work. When he talks about living the dream, he means it literally. Waking up early on the family farm, fishing with his kids, or driving a tractor between shows. His life isn't curated for cameras, it's crafted around values. Luke's influence goes beyond music charts. He represents a kind of modern celebrity that fans trust, successful yet approachable, famous but still one of us. And that balance is what keeps his fan base loyal year after year. His public life isn't just a performance, it's the proof of purpose that keeps his dream grounded in something real. If you really want to understand Luke Bryan, don't start with his songs. Look at where he chooses to live. His world isn't built on marble mansions or penthouse suites. It's built on fields, family, and faith in the simple things. At the heart of it all is his Redbird Farm, a sprawling 150-acre property in Williamson County, Tennessee, just outside Nashville, named in honor of his late sister. This farm isn't your typical celebrity estate. It's a reflection of his country lifestyle at its truest form. Picture this: a wide white farmhouse, rolling green pastures, a guest house for visiting friends, barns filled with horses and rescue animals, and the family's famous Brett's Barn, where donkeys, alpacas, and even kangaroos roam freely. For Luke, this isn't a show place, it's home base. He said the farm is where my soul rests, and it's where his kids have grown up learning responsibility, respect, and what it means to stay grounded, literally. But when the stage calls, or when the family needs a change of scenery, there's another side to that dream life: the beach escape. Luke's Santa Rosa Beach mansion, affectionately nicknamed Snowman after his late brother Chris, who used to draw snowmen as a joke, became his family's coastal getaway. With multiple stories overlooking the Gulf of Mexico, the house featured wraparound balconies, open decks, and a relaxed vibe that mixed country warmth with coastal luxury. They later sold the property, but not because it stopped meaning something. It had served its purpose, a chapter of memories, laughter, and healing. Just like his music, his homes evolve with his life's rhythm. And when he's not on the farm or at the beach, Luke's often in motion, literally flying between worlds. Flight tracking data and fan sightings show his private jet makes regular trips across the U.S. for tours, charity events, and family vacations. But even here, he's not the type to flex his jet for social media likes. His approach to luxury is functional, freedom over flash. It's the same story with his vehicle collection. You won't see Luke bragging about supercars or exotic imports. Instead, he's been spotted driving pickup trucks, ATVs, and farm utility vehicles, the kind that actually makes sense when your morning commute involves checking on cattle or hauling hay. His relationship with his toys is practical, tools for a country life that works hard and plays harder. When Luke travels, it's either on the road for his tour or off-grid with his family. One month, he's headlining a festival in Vegas. The next, he's fishing in Panama City or riding dirt trails with his sons. Every mile, every property, every plane trip, it's all part of a rhythm he's fine-tuned to keep fame from drowning out what matters. Because for Luke, the real measure of success isn't how loud life gets. It's how peaceful it feels when the spotlight fades. He didn't just chase fame, he built a life worth coming home to. From the peanut fields of Georgia to stadium stages and sprawling farmland, his story isn't about luck. It's about living the dream on his own terms, turning every setback into a song and every success into something that lasts. Because for Luke, luxury isn't the jet or the mansion. It's having the freedom to choose peace over pressure, family over fame, and roots over riches. And that's the real dream he's been living all along.
Luxurious life of Lionel Messi as he rises beyond football stardom. He isn't just breaking records on the field, he's living a life so lavish, it feels unreal. So today we're stepping inside the luxurious life of Lionel Messi. From the outside, he looks like the quiet legend who lets his game speak for him. But behind that calm exterior is a global icon who's built a world of mansions, mega contracts, private jets, and a luxury lifestyle that rivals anyone in sports or entertainment. And understanding this off-field world matters because it shows how a skinny kid from Rosario turned elite talent into a personal empire, one powered by smart choices, global fame, and assets that reach far beyond football. So, how did Messi end up owning homes from Miami to Ibiza and back to Argentina? What does his super rare car lineup and private jet say about how he actually lives day to day? And how do these moves shape the future of a man who's already a legend? Let's open the doors to the life most fans never get to see. Lionel Messi's story starts far from bright lights or luxury. He grew up in Rosario, Argentina, in a tight-knit family where football wasn't just a game, it was his whole world. By the time he was a small kid weaving through defenders twice his size, it was clear he had something rare. But talent alone wasn't enough. His growth condition, the medical bills, the uncertainty, all of it pushed his family to make a life-changing choice. Messi was only 13 when he moved to Barcelona for La Masia, a new home, a new way of speaking, a new way of life. And he handled it the only way he knew how, by letting the ball do the talking. That quiet fire turned into one of the greatest careers ever recorded. At FC Barcelona, Messi didn't just win matches, he rewrote the record books. Ballon d'Or after Ballon d'Or, Champions Leagues, La Liga dominance. He became the face of modern football and a global brand, something bigger than sport, something bigger than fame. And as his legend grew, so did his earning power. At Barcelona, then PSG, and now with Inter Miami CF, where he made the stunning move to the MLS in 2023, his contracts pushed him into rare financial territory. Add in long-term partnerships like Adidas, and you get the true base of his global real estate portfolio and the lifestyle we see today. His income didn't just lift him to the top, it gave him the freedom to design the life he wanted. His career moves weren't random either. Barcelona made him a star, PSG expanded his reach across Europe, and Inter Miami made him a cultural force in the United States. Each chapter brought milestones, trophies, and influence, and each one expanded the world he could build off the pitch. And once that foundation was set, Messi didn't start splurging. He started strategizing, especially with where he chose to live. For someone who could live anywhere, Messi didn't build a lifestyle around noise or excess. He built it around comfort, privacy, and long-term strategy, creating a global network of homes that reflects how a modern legend invests. His foundation has always been Spain. In 2009, during the peak of his Barcelona rise, Messi bought his coastal mansion in Castelldefels, a quiet, sun-soaked neighborhood overlooking the Mediterranean. Over the years, he expanded and customized it into a multi-million-dollar sanctuary. It wasn't about flash, it was about family, routine, and being minutes away from Camp Nou during the most dominant era of his career. But everything changed when he crossed the Atlantic. After joining Inter Miami, Messi planted new roots in Florida with a $10.75 million waterfront mansion in Fort Lauderdale, a sprawling modern estate with a dock, expansive pool deck, and the kind of privacy only the ultra-rich can secure. It marked the beginning of a new phase, a future in the US, and a bold real estate footprint to match. And he didn't stop at just one home. Miami became his new playground. Recent reports show Messi snapping up multiple luxury units in the upcoming Cipriani Residences Miami, a move that signals a long-term investment in one of America's fastest-growing luxury markets. It's not a vacation stop, it's a strategic hub for the next chapter of his life and brand. Still, Argentina is never far from his heart. Back in Rosario sits La Fortaleza, his modern estate built across 3 lots, a home theater, a full gym, an underground garage large enough for an entire fleet. This is where Messi retreats when he wants to reconnect with where it all started. Many believe it may one day become his retirement base, a return to his roots, but with every luxury imaginable. His footprint stretches even further through hospitality investments, through his involvement in luxury hotels across Spain, including hotspots in Ibiza and other Mediterranean destinations. Messi has turned tourism into a quiet revenue engine. These aren't vanity buys. They're smart, diversified holdings that reinforce his status as a global business figure, not just a sports icon. Taken together, Messi's luxury property portfolio spans continents and markets, valued well in the tens and likely hundreds of millions. It's intentional, it's strategic, and it reflects a man who plans his life the same way he plays football, with precision. And when you move across the world this often, you need a fleet that that can keep up. For someone who spends his life rewriting football history, Messi's world off the pitch moves just as fast and just as smoothly. His cars and private jet aren't random flexes. They're extensions of a lifestyle built on privacy, precision, and pure comfort. This is where another layer of Messi's luxury lifestyle comes into focus. Messi's car collection reads like a tour through the most coveted machines ever built. One of the crown jewels is the Pagani Zonda Tricolore, a rare hypercar known for its carbon fiber body and blistering performance. Then there's the Ferrari 335S Spider Scaglietti, a model so exclusive that it has been linked to some of the highest auction prices in automotive history. But Messi isn't all about speed and noise. He balances the thrill with everyday elegance. His Maserati Gran Turismo MC Stradale offers refined performance, while his Audi R8 V10 Spider adds supercar drama without sacrificing comfort. And for family days, he shifts into a range of luxury SUVs, practical, discreet, and perfect for a global superstar who still prefers life behind tinted windows. Together, these vehicles show the full spectrum of Messi's personality: the quiet family man, the thrill seeker, and the global icon who moves through the world with understated confidence. These aren't trophies for show, they're tools for a life that runs on tight schedules and constant travel. But Messi's true mobility power doesn't sit in a garage, it sits on a runway. His customized private jet, valued around $15 million, is designed for speed, comfort, and privacy, with room for his family, his team, and the essentials that keep his life running across continents. It's the one vehicle that defines his modern routine. Reports from his pre-Inter Miami years showed how often he relied on it for international matches, quick returns to Rosario, or short escapes with his family. When your commitments span 3 continents, commercial flights simply aren't an option. This jet turns the world into a flexible map. One week he's training in Miami, next he's in Argentina with family. Then he's jetting off for a brand shoot or a charity event. Mobility becomes more than travel, it becomes a lifestyle. Combined with his global real estate footprint, Messi's luxury transportation gives him something priceless: the ability to live on his own schedule, not anyone else's. But while speed gives him freedom, something else defines the next chapter of his life: influence, legacy, and the empire he's quietly building off the field. For all the noise around his goals, trophies, and global fame, Lionel Messi's true long game is happening far away from stadium lights. What he's quietly building behind the scenes is a financial empire, one designed not for headlines, but for endurance. Because Messi thinks like a legacy architect, not a celebrity spender. In Spain, his hospitality ventures continue to grow through partnerships that put his brand in some of Europe's most in-demand destinations. Behind all of this sits a structured company that oversees his global holdings. By late 2024, reports estimated that Messi's worldwide real estate, from mansions to condos to commercial properties, has climbed past $232 million. When you add in his hospitality ventures, it becomes clear he's not simply collecting homes, he's building a diversified, income-producing empire meant to last decades. What makes this powerful is how he diversifies. His assets stretch across continents, touch multiple industries, and protect his future beyond football. He blends personal comfort with business strategy, from high-end homes and exclusive resorts to vehicles and private air travel that support his global obligations. It's the blueprint of an athlete who understands that fame is temporary, but smart investments are forever. In other words, Messi is using his brand, the most recognizable in the sport, to construct a long-term financial fortress that supports family, philanthropy, and future ventures. This is not the behavior of someone chasing luxury. It's the mindset of someone securing a dynasty. In the end, Lionel Messi's life beyond football isn't just luxury. It's a masterclass in how a legend builds a world that can outlive the roar of any stadium. And the most surprising part is, he's not done yet.
How Snoop Dogg's net worth reached legendary status. Snoop Dogg's net worth isn't just about hit records. It's a blueprint for building a cultural empire. Because behind the memes, the movies, and the smooth West Coast swagger is a man who turned rhyme skills into global business power. In this video, we're breaking down what really built Snoop's fortune, from rap icon to mogul, using music, cannabis ventures, tech plays, and even sports ownership to stack up wealth that goes far beyond the stage. Let's break down how the Dogfather built a fortune that refuses to stop growing. Snoop Dogg's story doesn't start with fame. It starts in Long Beach, where Calvin Cordozar Broadus Jr. grew up surrounded by music, movement, and a neighborhood that demanded both toughness and creativity. From an early age, Snoop had a gift, a voice so smooth it felt effortless, and a flow that made even simple lines sound cinematic. Dr. Dre. After Dre discovered Snoop through a homemade tape with Warren G, everything changed. Snoop went from local talent to being featured all over The Chronic, and the response was instant. Fans didn't just like him, they locked onto him, drawn in by that laid-back delivery that felt like storytelling at street level. Then came Doggy Style in 1993, a debut album that didn't just sell, it exploded. It opened at number 1, went multi-platinum, and instantly cemented Snoop as a West Coast rap legend. Suddenly, his voice, his look, and his style weren't just part of hip-hop, they were shaping it. But what people sometimes forget is that early success did something much bigger for Snoop. It sharpened his business instincts. He learned quickly that fame is powerful, but ownership is stronger. Recording sessions, label politics, the massive success of Doggy Style, all of it taught him how to turn momentum into opportunity. It's the mindset that later fueled his moves into celebrity branding, tech ventures, TV, cannabis, and more. And once you've seen millions of dollars hit from your first album, you start thinking about the millions that can be hit from everything else. Snoop Dogg didn't become wealthy by accident. He became wealthy by evolving. Even as his music kept charting, streaming, and earning royalties around the world, he started shifting from performer to architect. His catalog still pulls millions of streams every month. His touring remains global, and his features are practically a genre of their own. But Snoop understood early that music money is powerful and unstable. That's why he built something bigger. The boldest move in that evolution came in 2022, when Snoop shocked the industry by acquiring Death Row Records, the very label that launched him. What once controlled his masters was now his brand to reshape. He's since expanded it into a digital-first label, pairing nostalgia with modern content strategy. Owning Death Row wasn't just business, it was reclaiming history. It was Snoop rewriting the terms of his legacy. But that's only one branch of his empire. Behind the scenes, Snoop was building a far more sophisticated financial machine, Casa Verde Capital, the cannabis-focused investment fund he co-founded. What started as a cultural movement became a massive business opportunity. With roughly $300 million under management, Casa Verde backed everything from cannabis tech to distribution, helping Snoop turn his long-standing association into something far more profitable, a global cannabis investor instead of just a spokesperson. And then there are the brands. Snoop isn't just posing with bottles, he's driving sales. His collaboration with 19 Crimes transformed a novelty wine into a remarkable marketing success story. His media presence, game shows, cooking shows with Martha Stewart, commercials, live streams, Snoop mastered the art of staying visible without overexposing himself. Every deal reinforces the others, forming a web of influence that keeps his revenue flowing from every direction. By the time you add up royalties, brand deals, business ventures, entertainment projects, and investments, Snoop stopped being just a rapper. He became a cultural businessman, a walking, talking marketing engine who can sell almost anything simply by showing up. Because for Snoop, wealth isn't just about making hits, it's about owning what made you. Snoop Dogg's influence didn't stop at the studio. It spilled into every corner of popular culture. By the time he became a household name, Snoop had turned visibility into a strategy. He showed up on TV, in movies, on cooking shows, game shows, talk shows, and every time he expanded his reach. What started as guest roles evolved into full-on hosting gigs, documentaries, and even sports broadcasts. These appearances weren't just for fun. They kept Snoop in front of millions, reinforcing him as a global entertainment figure and a steady, bankable presence in mainstream media. One of his boldest moves came overseas. While most rappers invest in jewelry or fashion, Snoop bought a co-owner stake in Swansea City FC, a professional football club in the UK. It wasn't random, it was strategic. Football is one of the biggest sports on the planet, and Snoop tapped into an international fan base with one investment. Suddenly, he wasn't just an American icon. He was a player in the global sports economy. That shift showed exactly how he thinks. Long-term, wide reach, and always with culture in mind. And that's at the core of his investment philosophy. Snoop invests where culture and capital meet, whether it's cannabis, music, sports, media, or emerging tech. He puts money into spaces that connect to who he is and who his audience is. It's why almost everything he touches feels authentic instead of forced. He's not chasing trends, he's expanding his world. He's building a portfolio that reflects both the Long Beach kid he once was and the international mogul he became. Because when you're not just a rapper, but a brand, every investment becomes part of your legacy. For a man whose image is larger than life, Snoop Dogg's real estate story is surprisingly grounded. He's owned multiple properties across California over the years, but his most well-known residence is the longtime home he purchased in the late 90s, a spot in Diamond Bar, tucked inside a gated community in the hills. It's not a mega mansion like you'd expect from a superstar, but a comfortable estate that fits Snoop's vibe. Private, relaxed, and tailored to creativity. That choice alone says a lot. He could have lived in a palace, but he chose something that felt like home. Inside the space reflects exactly who he is. Music rooms, custom touches, a laid-back interior. Everything orbits around comfort and imagination. And over the years, he's expanded and upgraded, turning it into a personal headquarters for family, work, and downtime. While many celebrities chase the next flashy upgrade, Snoop built a sanctuary. And that's a consistent theme across his California holdings. Each property leans into his identity. Not over the top, not performative, but refined with intention. This is where you see the connection between lifestyle and wealth. Snoop's spending isn't about proving he's rich. It's about maintaining a balance. He lives well, but in a way that sustains him, not overwhelms him. And that's the mark of someone who understands money at a deeper level. His home life mirrors his empire, chill on the surface, but built with quiet ambition. Every decision from location to layout supports the man he's become, not just the icon everyone sees. And if his homes reveal anything, it's that even behind closed doors, his success is built on intention, not impulse. When people talk about Snoop's success, they often skip the number that actually shows the scale of his empire. As of 2025, his net worth sits in the $160 to $165 million range, a valuation built over 3 decades and fueled by a wealth portfolio that keeps expanding, even when he's not in the booth. And the sources of that money tell a story. A big slice still comes from music, the streams, the touring, the deep catalog that never really left rotation. But the engine of his net worth is business, his cannabis ventures, his startup investments, and that era-defining move of reclaiming Death Row Records. Add media deals, hosting gigs, and brand partnerships, and you start to see how Snoop turned his persona into a revenue-generating machine. He didn't just get rich, he diversified. And the proof sits in his garage. He's got a Rolls-Royce Ghost, a symbol of quiet, serious money, a Ferrari 458 Italia, the kind of performance car that speaks louder than any chain, and a custom 2011 Ford Mustang GT designed with Funkmaster Flex, a nod to West Coast car culture and Snoop's love for personalized rides. Each one isn't just a flex, it's part of his asset valuation, the tangible side of a fortune built through strategy, not luck. Because once you understand what he owns and why he owns it, you see the blueprint behind the legend. At the end of the day, Snoop didn't just build wealth, he built a legacy that earns even when he sleeps. And that's what makes his rise truly legendary.
Nicki Minaj's mansion isn't just a house. It's a symbol of how a hip-hop queen turned hustle into legacy. From the streets of Queens to the hidden hills, every corner of Nicki's empire tells a story of ambition, control, and luxury. In this video, we're stepping inside her world, how she built it, what her home says about her power, and how her private lifestyle fuels her legend. So, what makes her Hidden Hills estate more than just another celebrity mansion? How did her music, tours, and business moves fund this life of luxury? And what do her cars and private travels reveal about who Nicki Minaj really is off stage? Let's find out, because in Nicki's world, every wall tells a story of success. There was Onika Tanya Mirage, a girl from St. James, Trinidad, who dreamed big enough to cross oceans. When her family moved to Queens, New York, Nicki's world was far from the luxury she'd one day command. She grew up in a modest home, in a neighborhood where success wasn't handed to you, it was fought for. That fight became her fuel. In her early 20s, Nicki hustled through mixtapes like Playtime Is Over and Beam Me Up Scotty, crafting a bold persona that would redefine what a woman in rap could sound like. Fierce, funny, and unapologetically loud. Then came Pink Friday, her first studio album, which shattered expectations, going triple platinum and launching her into global superstardom. With fame came something else. Access, endorsements from brands like Pepsi and MAC Cosmetics, record-breaking tours, and collaborations with the biggest names in the world turned Nicki from an underground sensation to pop culture royalty. But success didn't just change her career, it changed her environment. For years, Nicki lived in high-end rental properties, but in 2022, reports confirmed she'd purchased a multi-million-dollar estate in Hidden Hills, California, a private community known for stars like Kylie Jenner and The Weeknd. This wasn't just an access upgrade, it was a statement. Owning a home in one of LA's most exclusive enclaves meant she wasn't just performing luxury anymore, she was living it. For Nicki, real estate became a reflection of evolution, from a Trinidadian immigrant chasing verses in a basement studio to a global icon curating her own slice of paradise. And that's the thing about Nicki, she never stays still. From queens to gated luxury, her story was never just about arrival. Because for Nicki Minaj, every move, every property, every purchase was about leveling up the narrative. But before she was walking the marble corridors of her Hidden Hills mansion, Nicki Minaj was building a financial empire. One verse, one deal, one brand at a time. Her career isn't just successful, it was strategically layered. From the explosive success of Pink Friday to chart toppers like Superbass, Anaconda, and Starships, Nicki proved she could dominate not just rap, but pop, R&B, and everything in between. She became the first female solo artist with 7 songs simultaneously on the Billboard Hot 100, and her world tours grossed millions globally. Every stage, every lyric was another deposit into her growing fortune. What's fascinating is how Nicki used her wealth. Before owning her dream estate, she was famously renting a $35,000 a month Beverly Hills mansion, a Mediterranean-style property once owned by Frank Sinatra's family. It was stunning, sure, but temporary. Nicki was testing the waters of high-end real estate, understanding what luxury meant to her. That changed when she purchased her Hidden Hills estate in 2022 for around $19.5 million. According to Finance Monthly, the property spans over 11,000 square feet with 8 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, a detached guest house, and a pool that could double as a resort feature. Unlike the glitz of Beverly Hills, Hidden Hills offers privacy, something a global star like Nicki values more than diamonds. And that's where her transformation becomes clear. From chart-topping artist to artist entrepreneur, Nicki's investments in real estate aren't just about luxury, they're about longevity. It's a smart pivot many modern hip-hop moguls are making, turning creative income into tangible assets that outlast the fame cycle. Because while awards fade and headlines move on, property and the power it represents stays. Once you step inside Nicki Minaj's luxury estate, you're not just walking into a house, you're walking into her world. Every wall, every finish, every pink-tinted detail tells the story of a woman who built her empire with precision, performance, and personality. Nicki's Hidden Hills property is more than square footage. It's a reflection of her alter egos, from Roman Zelensky to Barbie herself. Sources close to her design team describe interiors with soft blush tones, sleek white marble floors, and custom touches that channel her signature Barbiecore aesthetic. Elegant but fearless. It's the perfect blend of fairy tale and fortress, a sanctuary where Nicki can balance motherhood, music, and mogul moves. See, Nicki doesn't just own luxury, she redefines it. In an industry historically dominated by men, where wealth is often displayed as a flex, she made hers a form of empowerment. Her lavish lifestyle becomes a visual manifesto, proof that women, especially women of color, can occupy the same spaces of grandeur, power, and autonomy that the industry once reserved for others. Of course, critics have their takes. Some say her visible indulgence in luxury reinforces materialism, that it's too much. But her supporters and millions of fans see something else: reclamation. They see a woman from Queens, raised on grit and self-belief, standing unapologetically in her worth. That's the thing about Nicki. Nothing she shows is accidental. Her mansions, cars, and even her outfits are extensions of her message. That confidence, creativity, and control over one's image can coexist with luxury. When most people think of Nicki Minaj's empire, They picture a pink-accented mansion behind the gates of hidden hills. But that's only one chapter of a much bigger financial playbook. Beyond her main estate, Nicki has been quietly building a broader real estate footprint. Reports from Finance Monthly suggest she's connected to a luxury penthouse in New York City, a property valued near $5 million that keeps her close to the recording studios and networks that shaped her career. In Atlanta, insiders point to rental homes purchased as income properties, showing that Minaj isn't just a consumer of luxury. She learned to profit from it. And while her Hidden Hills farmhouse sits at the top of her portfolio, it hasn't come without challenges. In 2023, Celebrity Net Worth and Radar Online covered a legal dispute threatening her estate after an unpaid judgment involving her husband's prior case surfaced. Though Nicki wasn't directly accused of wrongdoing, the episode showed how wealth and visibility can pull even personal assets into public drama. Still, what's most fascinating is how Nicki treats property like a business asset, not a trophy. Every purchase, from Los Angeles to the East Coast, reinforces the brand she's built. Independent, self-made, and female-owned in an industry that often sidelines women when it comes to ownership. She's not just buying houses, she's creating infrastructure that sustains her long after the music fades. Her decisions reveal the mindset of a mogul who understands that the